Hey guys, it's Brittany. So today's gonna be a back in time watches video, and today I'll be sharing with you the first time that I've seen Scream 4. And so okay, so let me look this up real quick because I gotta look this up real quick here. Um, oh geez, what did I do? Okay. Um, so the thing is, when Scream 4 was released in theaters in April in 2011, I did not want to see it in theaters, although I wish I did, but I didn't. But that's okay. And so, but I remember, I think when I did watch it, I think it was, I'm trying to think here, I think it was somewhere maybe later that year in 2011, or it could have been in 2012. So I think when I did watch it a year after that, I was 20. I was 20 when I first watched Scream 4, and so upon watching it the first time, I just thought, okay, I'm ready, because of course I first watched Scream, the first one, when I was 13, and then I saw part 2 when I was 13, even Scream 3. So of course watching, of course, the first 3 over and over from 13 to 18, 19, of course all the way up to 20s, like, of course I just loved it, and of course I became a fan, of the movie since the first time watching those movies. So when it came to watching the fourth one, I thought, okay, I'm ready, I'm excited. And the thing is, too, is that I didn't really expect anything. I didn't expect what I hoped to see or what I didn't want to see, because of course when you do expect for something, whether if it's something you hoped to see or something that you would not to see, but then if it still happens in some way, then yeah, you're gonna be left feeling just disappointed. So I did not, because I thought, nope, no matter what's gonna happen, I'm excited. So of course I was just keeping in an open mind that anything could happen in this movie. But of course there was that thought, like, okay, I don't want any of the characters to die in this one. Not Dewey, not Gil, not Sydney. Like, I just don't want them to get killed off. So that was the only thing I was just hoping for. But other than that, I wasn't really expecting anything else. I was just watching it with keeping an open mind that anything could happen, and anyone could be the killer, Ghostface, at this point. So of course, just watching it the first time, I just thought, I just liked it from the start. And yeah, the only one thing I didn't like though was the, what do you call it? It's like this glare, kind of like a, I think people have mentioned this before, where some movies, I think remakes, kind of like have this glare. So of course it didn't look flattering. It didn't look like it really suit well with the movie, and of course that part I agree, that that kind of glare with the movie just that didn't quite look right. But it almost looked like it had this glare to the quality of the movie, almost like it looks like a reboot, like a remake, when actually it isn't. So yeah, like I said, that was the only thing that bothered me. Was yeah, and that's the one thing I still don't like of it. But I think they changed it. I believe. I think there's now. I think they fixed that somehow, where now you could buy Scream 4 on DVD and it doesn't have that, and it shows it where it's a little bit more, has this sharp look to it, I think. And that's something I would like to see. Um, yeah, I just remember, just thinking like, okay, this is, going really good. And of course, I will admit there are some characters I had a feeling about. There were just some characters I was suspecting. Like, okay, now for those who haven't seen it, you don't have to watch this if you haven't seen Scream 4, but for those who have seen Scream 4, then you know what I mean. Is that, I don't know, let's just say, of course, okay, let me think. At first I also suspected of, oh, Trevor. Yeah. So I did suspected him though at first, because of course they were giving off this like Billy Loomis kind of vibe from him, in a way. So yeah, I did suspected him, but I also suspected Charlie. And the reason why I suspected him was because, for one, I felt like he would have this look at times where it's like you don't know what he's thinking, but I felt like he doesn't say a whole lot, so I felt like he was quiet, and whenever he would say something, it would be just something that he would say. So, of course, and yeah, that's the thing, I didn't know what to really think of him. I'm like, okay, yeah, I suspect him, because somehow there's something doesn't quite seem right with him. And here's another thing, because of course Jill's supposed to be like this other like version of Sydney, her cousin. But at the same time, I thought, because I even thought, oh no, she's probably gonna go through the same thing Sydney's gonna go through, and it's gonna be like the first Scream all over again. And so, but at the same time, I felt like they're just, and the thing is too, even though she seems likable, even though she seems like the kind of character that you could trust, but at the same time, I feel like there are certain things where I feel like she said certain things, or she had a certain look that made me think, okay, maybe she isn't so likable. Maybe she isn't the kind of character who you think she is, where you could really trust her. Because I thought, okay, because yeah, I even thought, okay, I don't know whether if if she is gonna be turn out to be one of those characters or not. But I thought, in case if she's somehow in all of this of Ghostface, then okay. I did not see that coming. But if not, then maybe she is like Sydney in that way, where she's very likable and you do trust her, and you just want to be able to like root for her and be like, yeah, you know what I mean? So, like I said, I didn't know what to really think, because I thought, well, she could be innocent in all of this, but if she's not, then oh boy. So, and the thing is, I think honestly I did not suspected Robbie, because to me he just did not seem the kind of character that would be Ghostface. And honestly, same thing with Kirby. I did not suspected her either, because I instantly loved Kirby, from the start, because for one, she was very likable, and she reminded me of Tatum, but at the same time of Randy too. So it's like a mix of both. And so yeah, I just love Kirby. I do. She's one of my favorite characters, and so yeah, because of that, I felt that, of course, that I can trust Kirby and with this, into the story, cause I just didn't get the feeling like, oh yeah, she's gonna be one of the Ghostface killers. Like, no, I didn't got that feeling from her at all, because I just thought, no, I don't see it. Like, I don't get that feeling from her, that vibe. Like, no. Like, she's a good character, Like, I thought, she's one of the good guys. I see her as someone who would be very protective of her friends and family, but I don't see her as someone who would be Ghostface of because of whatever the reason might be, especially if it's coming out of like jealousy or hate or something like, like I just didn't see that. But turns out, my gut feeling was right, because of course, um, when it came to the part where when she was untying Charlie and then he stabbed her, yeah, of course. Now here's the thing, I was shocked, but at the same time I was thinking, like, I knew it. I had a feeling something was so off about him. So yeah, I mean, I was, like I said, I was so shocked, but at the same time I was upset. And yeah, and knowing that he did that to Kirby, and after he stabbed her, he just pretty much dropped her on the floor, but she was still moving. She was still moving when she was bleeding, and I'm like, oh my gosh, so yeah, I was just like, oh no, and yeah, I kept thinking, I hope Kirby didn't die, but yeah, even for a long time, after years after the fourth one, I thought, you know what, I don't really think Kirby did die. Because she was still moving when she was bleeding, so I think if they were to make another Scream movie, that she could come back. And of course she did, just not in part 5, but she did in part 6, so I'm glad she did. Like, oh, that made me so happy. But I will say this though, because during the end, when it came to, of course, the ending of the reveal, and when it showed how that was Charlie, but then when Sydney ran and then she got stabbed, and she's seeing this other ghost face in front of her, and in my mind I'm thinking, okay, it could be anyone at this point. It could be, it could be Trevor, but I was also thinking, like, oh gosh, I think it's Jill. I think it's Jill. So, I'm thinking that, and all of a sudden she takes off the mask, and then Sydney is surprised that it's her own cousin. And so, no, believe me, I was shocked too with that, because, yeah, honestly, because here's the thing, because Emma Roberts is a good actress, and, because I've seen her in some movies. I think I've seen her in mostly when it came to American Horror Story. So of course I did enjoy her performances of the character she played throughout the show. So somehow I thought, no, like, I hope not. But if she is, at the same time I wouldn't doubt it, because there are some things she did and certain face expressions she had that made me, that started to make me question, okay, I think she could be in on this. I think she could be Ghostface. And turns out when it was her, I'm just like, wait, what? So like I said, of course I was shocked, but I'm like, okay, I'm shocked, but at the same time I don't doubt it. Like, well, not doubt it, but I just thought, okay, at the same time I had that feeling. I had that gut feeling that was telling me, as much as she seems innocent and likable, but at the same time, she could be one of the Ghostface killers, and that if she is, then that wouldn't be hard to believe if she was. So, yeah, and of course, I would say seeing her true colors and everything, it just all made sense. And even the way she was acting, even the way she was talking to Sydney in that way, I was just like, oh my gosh, what a total, you know what, a bit. So, yeah, after that, I thought, you know what, you seemed really likable at first. And of course, I wasn't sure whether to completely trust you or not. And there's some things you said or did, or even had this certain look on your face that made me question whether if she really was Ghostface or not. So, like I said, so because of that, I think that's why I didn't become too attached to her character, because I was also had my doubts. I was questioning whether she could be one of them or not. And when it turned out she was, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, and so of course when she was saying to why, and because it was the fact that she was jealous of her cousin, you know, Sydney, and because the fact that when she put it in a way by saying what she said to her, saying like, do you know what it was like living in this family related to you? And she was saying how the only thing she ever heard was like about Sydney, like pretty much throughout her whole life. And so yeah, she did this out of jealousy, and she did this because she's like, well, my cousin has all this attention because everyone's talking about her. So, and I think she wanted that. She wanted to get attention, but she was going out about it the wrong way. And because and the one thing that I find so pathetic is that she even said, what was it that she said? She said something like, what am I supposed to do? Go to college, school, work. And somehow she was pointing out the fact that, like, how do you think people become famous anymore? You don't have to achieve anything. You just gotta have effed up shit happen to you. So, and the way she put it like that, I'm like, okay, that's just horrible. That's just a really bad way to put it. Saying like, oh yeah, like her saying going to school and going to work sounds so bad when she could be doing, when she would rather have something happen to her that's so horrible, and she gets her 15 minutes of fame of something horrible that happened to her, just like it happened to her cousin. But of course, now with Sydney, when this happened to her, it's because Billy and Stu did this. They brought it upon themselves. So of course, when this happened, Sydney did not want any attention from the media, you know, at all. You know, she wanted to be left alone. And this is where Jill is different, where it's like, because Sydney has this all attention that she never wanted, it's like, okay, since you never wanted this, but you still have the attention anyway because of what happened to you, then I want that too. I want that attention. I want everyone to be talking about me, even if something messed up happened, and if I have to go through some, you know, effed up situation just to get my 15 minutes of fame, then okay, I might as well do that so I could get all the attention that I wanted. And so, of course, her saying that and everything like that, it's just so messed up. It's just like, oh my gosh. Like I said, she did this out of jealousy. She did this because she wants the attention to herself, but she did this in such a way that so many people were getting killed because of it. So she's doing this so that way it can make it look like she's another version of Sydney, and that she is gonna make it look like she's innocent in all this when she's not. So yeah, but again, like I said, so upon watching this, I just remember thinking when she was mentioning her motive and the reason why of all of this, I thought, wow, what a messed up, you know what? So I'm like, okay, and yeah, so I'm like, okay, you know what? Now I don't like her. I'm glad I didn't become attached to this character, you know, and so. But yeah, of course, at some point, even with how it ended, I'm like, okay, good thing Sydney just took her out. But yes, I will say this overall, like, despite who was the killer and how the story was told in this way, you know, differently. I mean, I still liked it. I still enjoy it. So yes, I would say this. This is also one of my favorite Scream movies. I mean, I think it could have been a little bit more intense, a little bit more scary, and I think it could have done better in some ways, but I do admit that Scream 4 was ahead of its time when it came to social media, you know, like definitely. And so, yeah. And like I said, I do enjoy this, so yeah, I remember even after the first time watching it, I thought, okay, you know what, I still enjoy it, and okay, I love it no matter how it turned out. Like I said, even though there might be some flaws, you know, could have done better in some ways, could have been more intense and scary, but at the same time, like I said, I still enjoy it when I watch it. So, and yeah, so, you know, of course, since then, like I said, Scream, it just seems like each Scream movie has become my favorite, but of course, in their own way, where they're telling a different story. We get these characters, and we get these different, and of course, we get these other characters who turn out to be Ghostface, and that's what I find so interesting too, is that in each one there is someone different. It's like it could be anyone. It could be the love interest, could be a relative, could be a friend, could be someone, it could be even a character you don't even know that well, and there's still Ghostface nonetheless. So that's what I find so interesting, is that you don't know who it's gonna be, and once you do find out, it's either you're shocked but you had a feeling about it, or you could be completely shocked because you weren't suspecting them at all, or it could be that maybe in a way you are shocked, but maybe not as much because you were suspecting it was them, and so, you know, you're just like, I knew it, you know. So yeah, so yeah, I do enjoy this. So yeah, and that's the back in time watches. That's the first memory I had of watching Scream 4, and that was when I was 20. So yeah. And so, and I just want to say this too real quick, that you have to check this out. Okay, so I'm so glad that Nev Campbell is back to play Sydney Prescott in Scream 7, and Courtney Cox is back. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and I just want to let you guys know, for those who are Scream fans, I just want to let you know real quick, I might have to post this later, maybe on Twitter, maybe on YouTube later on the post, but the thing is, back, okay, I'm not sure when, I think it was December, but I had this dream that, I had a dream of what Scream 7 would be, where Nev Campbell is back, Courtney Cox, even Hayden Panettiere, you know, as Kirby, and that in this one, things get more intense, you know, and it gets a little bit more terrifying. So I had this dream about it, of how Scream 7 could be, like what it could be like. So if you want to check that out, I could leave the video in the iCard right here, so you could check that out, and you could listen to that dream, because yeah, when I had this dream, I believe this dream was showing me that Scream 7 just could be the most intense and terrifying sequel. So if you want to hear about it, I will leave it up here so you can check it out. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and so for more movie content, reactions, and dreams, subscribe and click on the bell so you'll be notified when I upload. Um, that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.